5 foods sit in nearly every American kitchen with the word healthy printed somewhere on the box. And the longest living people in the Mediterranean, the men and women who reach 90 and 100 clear-eyed and upright, have never eaten a single one of them. Not once. Not because they were disciplined, but because these foods did not exist in their villages. And when you understand what they ate instead, you start to see that a lot of what we have been sold as health food is the opposite. I want to walk you through all 5. And I want to be fair because some of these will sting. You probably have at least 3 of them in your house right now. Bought with the best of intentions. Bought because the front of the package told you they were the smart choice. I am not here to scold you. I bought them too for years. I am here to show you what the people who actually live the longest reach for, instead, because the swap is almost always simpler, cheaper, and older than the thing you are replacing. Let us start with the one that hides in plain sight. Low-fat dairy, skim milk, fat-free yogurt. The little tubs of 0% that line an entire wall of the store, marketed straight at people over 60 who have been told their whole lives that fat is the enemy of the heart. Here is the thing. Go to Sardinia, to the highland villages where men reach 100 at a rate seen almost nowhere else, and watch what they put in their bodies. Full-fat sheep's milk cheese, whole fermented tangy yogurt from their own animals. They never once skimmed the fat off. The idea would have seemed insane to them, like throwing away the best part, and their hearts, by every measure researchers have taken, are remarkably healthy. Why does the full-fat version win? Because when you strip the fat out of dairy, 2 things happen and both are bad. First, you remove the very thing that slows digestion and keeps you full so you eat again sooner. Second, and this is the part nobody mentions, a fat-free product tastes like nothing. So the manufacturer adds sugar to make it palatable. Read the label on a fat-free fruit yogurt sometime. It can carry as much sugar as a dessert. You took out the healthy fat and they put in the harmful sugar, and they sold it to you as the responsible choice. The Sardinian elder ate the plain, sour, full-fat yogurt with nothing added, and that is the one your body actually wants. So the first swap is the easiest one you will ever make. Stop buying low-fat and fat-free dairy. Buy the full-fat plain version. And if you want it sweet, add a little real fruit or a spoon of honey yourself so you control it. That single change made today puts you closer to the Sardinian table than 90% of the health aisle. The second food is the one we eat first thing in the morning, and it might be the most successful marketing trick in the history of food. Breakfast cereal. And yes, I mean the healthy ones too. The bran flakes, the granola with the mountain on the box, the little O's that claim to lower your cholesterol, the whole grain, high fiber, heart association approved boxes that feel like a virtuous way to start the day. No Mediterranean elder has ever eaten a bowl of breakfast cereal. It did not exist where they grew up. And here is what should give you pause. Even the healthiest looking cereal is a processed food. Grain that has been ground to powder, cooked, puffed, shaped, and dried at high heat, which means it hits your blood sugar almost as fast as candy. The granola, the one we think of as the gold standard, is often soaked in oil and sugar and honey to make those crunchy clusters, and a single bowl can carry the sugar of a slice of cake. What did they eat in the morning instead? In Crete, a piece of real barley bread, dense and chewy with olive oil poured over it. In Icaria, often nothing until late morning, and then bread or a little yogurt or yesterday's beans. In Sardinia, bread again with cheese, slow food, whole food, things that release their energy over hours, not minutes. So an old body stays steady and full instead of spiking and crashing before lunch. So the second swap, put the cereal down, even the healthy box, and have a slice of real dense bread with olive oil, or a bowl of plain, full-fat yogurt, or simply wait and eat a proper lunch. Your blood sugar will thank you within the first week, and you will stop feeling that mid-morning crash that sends you looking for a snack. The third food is the one that fooled an entire generation into thinking they were doing something wonderful for their bodies. Fruit juice and its modern cousin, the smoothie. Even the fresh pressed kind. Even the green one from the expensive place that costs more than lunch. Walk through any Mediterranean village and you will find people eating whole fruit. An orange peeled by hand, a handful of figs, a bunch of grapes. What you will not find is anyone drinking the juice of 6 oranges in one glass. Because to make a single glass of orange juice, you squeeze the sugar out of many oranges and throw away the fiber, the pulp, the part of the fruit that was protecting you from that sugar in the first place. A whole orange is a healthy food. The juice of 4 oranges with the fiber removed is essentially sugar water, and it hits your bloodstream just as hard as soda. The smoothie feels safer because the fiber is blended in rather than thrown away. But here's the quiet problem. When you blend fruit, you pulverize that fiber so finely, and you pile in so much fruit, 2 bananas, a cup of mango, a date or two, that you are still drinking the sugar of a meal's worth of fruit in 2 minutes, far more than you would ever sit and eat whole. The elders ate one piece of fruit slowly, and the act of chewing and the intact fiber kept the sugar gentle. There is a quieter cost too. The sugar in fruit is mostly fructose, and your liver is the only organ that can handle it. Eat a whole orange, and the fructose trickles to the liver slowly, easily managed. Drink the juice of 6, and that same liver gets hit with a flood it was never built for. The kind of repeated flood that over years quietly burdens the liver in ways we are only now beginning to understand. The fiber in the whole fruit was the brake on all of it, and juice throws the brake away. So the third swap is to stop drinking your fruit and start eating it. One whole piece. Peel it, chew it, taste it. It is more filling, it is cheaper, and it gives you the fruit the way every long-lived population on this sea has always taken it. The fourth food is the one dressed up as the heart-healthy hero. And this one makes me a little angry because the deception is so deliberate. Margarine and the soft tub spreads that promise to lower your cholesterol. The ones with the reassuring names and the little heart on the lid sold for decades to exactly the people we are talking about. Men and women over 60 worried about their hearts. No traditional Mediterranean elder has ever spread margarine on anything. They had olive oil, and where they wanted fat on bread, they used olive oil or sometimes a little real butter or lard from their own pig at a festival. Margarine is an industrial invention, vegetable oil chemically forced into a solid, and for most of its history, it carried trans fats. The single most damaging fat ever to enter the human diet. The one now banned in many places precisely because it wrecks the arteries it was sold to protect. The newer versions removed the worst of it, but you are still eating a heavily processed industrial fat, pretending to be food, when the simplest, oldest, most studied, healthy fat on earth was sitting right there the whole time. So the fourth swap is the one the Cretans would laugh at us for needing to be told. Throw out the margarine and the spreads. Use olive oil on your bread, in your pan, over your vegetables. If you want butter, use a little real butter. Stop eating the chemical imitation of a fat and eat the real fats that human beings have thrived on for thousands of years. The fifth food is the newest of all, and it is aimed squarely at older people now, harder every year. Protein bars, protein shakes, the powders, the meal replacements, the little foil-wrapped bricks that promise to fight the muscle loss of aging. We are told after 60 that we need more protein, and the industry has rushed in to sell it to us in the most processed form imaginable. Here is the irony. The Sardinian men who keep their muscle into their 90s, the ones I have talked about, who stay strong enough to walk the mountains at 90, got almost none of their protein from animals, and absolutely none of it from a powder. They got it from beans, from lentils, from chickpeas, from a little sheep cheese, from bread made of real durum wheat. Whole food protein wrapped in fiber, eaten slowly spread across the day. A protein bar, by contrast, is a candy bar wearing a lab coat, a list of isolated proteins and sweeteners and binders pressed into a shape. And a protein shake is a scoop of powder that your body was never designed to receive all at once, stripped of everything that should come with real food. You do not need them. You need beans, you need lentils, you need the humble, cheap, whole plant proteins that built the strongest old bodies ever measured. So the fifth swap is to take the money you spend on bars and powders and spend it on dried beans and lentils, which cost almost nothing, and eat some at most meals. That is the real anti-aging protein, and it has been the whole time. And there is a reason the whole bean beats the powder that goes beyond the protein itself. When the protein arrives inside a bean, it comes wrapped in fiber, in minerals, in the slow release of a real food. So your body absorbs it gently and uses it well. When it arrives as a powder dumped into water, it floods in all at once, far more than an older body can actually put to use in one sitting. And much of it is simply wasted or worse. The bean feeds your gut bacteria on the way through. The powder feeds nothing but the spike. The elders never knew any of this chemistry. They just ate the bean the way their grandmothers did, and their bodies took exactly what they needed at exactly the pace they needed it. The factory cannot improve on that. It can only take it apart and sell you the pieces. Before I tie this together, let me tell you how we got here because it explains all five at once. About 50 years ago, the world decided that dietary fat was the great villain behind heart disease. It became gospel almost overnight. Cut the fat, the message went, and you will save your heart. And the food industry heard that message and saw an opportunity. They began stripping the fat out of everything, the milk, the yogurt, the spreads, and they replaced it with something cheaper, and it turns out far more dangerous. Sugar, refined starch, the very things that actually drive heart disease and diabetes. We spent 50 years afraid of the wrong thing, and an entire aisle of fat-free, low-fat, heart-healthy products was built on that fear. Here is what makes it almost unbelievable. While we were doing this, the people with the healthiest hearts on the planet were sitting in Mediterranean villages, eating fat with both hands, olive oil by the cupful, full-fat cheese, whole yogurt, nuts, fish. They never got the memo, and they were the ones we should have been studying all along. The fear of fat was a 50-year mistake, and these five foods are its children. Every one of them was born from the idea that we could improve on real food by processing it. We could not. We made it worse and charged more for it. Let me show you what they ate instead, because the contrast is the whole point, and it is so ordinary, it is almost disappointing. Picture a real day on Ikaria, the Greek island where people forget to die. There is no breakfast cereal, no juice, no protein bar anywhere in the story. The morning might be a little wild mountain tea and a piece of bread. Maybe nothing at all until mid-morning. Around noon, a plate of beans, big lima beans stewed slow with tomato, and a flood of olive oil with greens gathered from the hillside on the side, and bread to push it together. In the afternoon, perhaps a handful of olives, a piece of fruit off a tree, a few almonds. In the evening, more of the same with a small glass of wine eaten late with neighbors slowly. Meat shows up on a Sunday or a feast. That is the entire menu. There is nothing in it you could not buy or grow cheaply. And there is nothing in it with a health claim printed on the side because every item is just itself. Now hold that ordinary day next to the modern healthy breakfast. The bowl of granola with skim milk and a glass of orange juice and a protein bar grabbed for later. On paper, the modern version sounds responsible. In your bloodstream, it is a sugar spike, a second sugar spike, and a processed brick. The Icarian day is slow energy, real fat, whole fiber, and food your body recognizes. We have been comparing the wrong things. We thought the choice was between healthy modern food and unhealthy modern food. The real choice, the one that actually moves the needle, is between processed and whole. And the elders never had to make it because whole was all they had. I should give you a few honorable mentions too, because the five are not alone. The rice cakes and the diet crackers that feel like nothing and spike your blood sugar like bread. The flavored vitamin waters that are soda with a halo. The agave nectar and the syrup sold as natural sweeteners, which are often more concentrated sugar than the white stuff they replaced. The veggie chips that are mostly potato starch and oil with a whisper of spinach for color. They all run on the same trick. Take a processed food, attach a wholesome word, natural, vitamin, veggie, multigrain, and sell the word. None of these exist on the Mediterranean table either, and for the same reason, they are not food. They are products that resemble food. Now let me step back because there is a single thread running through all five of these, and once you see it, you will never be fooled again. Every one of these foods is a processed product wearing the costume of health. Low-fat dairy, healthy cereal, fresh juice, heart-healthy margarine, protein bars. Each one took a real whole simple food and did something to it in a factory. Removed something, added something, ground it, extracted it, reshaped it, and then printed a health claim on the front to sell it back to you at a higher price. And here's the deepest part. The Mediterranean elders did not avoid these foods through willpower or knowledge. They avoided them because the foods did not exist. They had no choice but to eat real things, whole things, things that came off a tree or out of the ground or from an animal they knew. The poverty and the simplicity that we pity, that we think of as a hard old life, was in fact a kind of protection. They were never given the chance to make the mistakes we make every morning at the grocery store. That is the contrarian truth at the center of all of this. The health food aisle is largely a modern invention designed to sell you processed food with a clear conscience. The people who actually live the longest never shop there. They eat at the edges of the store, or better yet, from their own gardens. Vegetables, beans, whole fruit, real bread, olive oil, full-fat fermented dairy, fish, a little meat on special days. Nothing with a health claim on the front, because real food does not need one. An orange does not have a label telling you it is good for you. It just is. So if you take one thing from this, let it be a habit you can use the very next time you stand in that aisle. When a food has to tell you it is healthy on the front of the package, be suspicious. Real food is usually silent. The louder the health claim, the more processed the thing inside tends to be. The elders of Sardinia and Crete and Icaria never read a single front of package claim in their lives, and they outlived us all. And here is the one swap to make tomorrow morning, the simplest of the 5, because change starts with one thing, whatever you normally eat for breakfast. If it came out of a box or a bottle with a health claim on it, replace it just for tomorrow with one real whole thing. A slice of real bread with olive oil, a bowl of plain, full-fat yogurt with a piece of fruit. That one breakfast, real instead of processed, is the entire lesson of this video on a single plate. Do it once. Notice how steady you feel until lunch, and then do it again. If you want to keep learning what the longest living people on this sea actually eat, and just as important, what they never touch, stay with this channel. We go food by food, village by village, and we keep it honest and cheap enough for any kitchen. So tell me in the comments and be honest, which of these 5 is sitting in your kitchen right now? I read every answer, and the ones that surprise me most often become the next thing we look at together. If this story changed how you view the healthy items in your pantry, please subscribe and like the video. We are uncovering the nutritional history that modern marketing tried to bury. Let's cultivate a healthier future together. The next treasure of longevity will be revealed soon.